Hi, I'm Renee from the Bee and Bear Homestead, and today I thought I'd share with you my favorite way to preserve cherry tomatoes. Cherry tomatoes are sort of a problem for me because if you have more than one plant, you'll start to soon get so many cherry tomatoes you can't possibly eat them all fresh, even though they're delicious, and they're so small. You can't easily skin them and can them. So what is a good way to preserve all these delicious tomatoes that doesn't take a crazy amount of work? Well, my favorite way to preserve cherry tomatoes is with a food dehydrator. So if you do have a dehydrator, this could be a great solution for you. It doesn't take a lot of time and it will give you a great product that you can use in the winter. Here is my food dehydrator. I have a Nesco food dehydrator. It is not the most expensive version on the market, but it is a little bit of an investment, and I have found that this one works really well for me. The reason I like this dehydrator is that the fan for it and the heating element is in the lid, and then the trays are these circular trays, and you can add more. So you need to have three trays for it to have proper airflow at least, but you can add up to 10 trays and it will still be effective. And I have definitely done that in the past with certain loads of produce. So it's a really nice food dehydrator, and it's a good tool to add to your repertoire if you are preserving food. So let me show you how to preserve cherry tomatoes with a food dehydrator. Okay, I've just rinsed my cherry tomatoes off, and this is so simple. I have a tomato knife. This is a really handy tool. It has a serrated edge and a really sharp knife, and just cut your tomatoes in half and put them cut side up on your dehydrating tray. And you want to leave just a little bit of space between them, but that's all there is to it. It's really easy to prepare. I cut up all my tomatoes and I put them on my trays, and as you can see, I've just left a little bit of space between the tomatoes on my tray. And I did end up filling up 3 trays because I added a few full-size tomatoes too. So this works especially well for cherry tomatoes, but actually you can dehydrate any size tomato. If you are slicing up larger tomatoes, just slice them about a 1/4 inch thick. And even with the full-size tomato, what's great about this method of dehydrating or of food preservation is you don't have to remove the skins. You don't have to do anything hot on the stove. So it's a really low-key, easy way to preserve food. When you are all done, if you've got them on the tray, you just, with this version of a dehydrator, you just pop the lid on and plug it in, and it turns on automatically. You dehydrate them at 135 degrees, and it's probably going to take about 24 hours for the tomatoes to be fully dry. You don't want them to feel squishy anymore. You want them to have all the moisture dried out of them. This is what they look like when they are all done. These are some I actually dehydrated back in 2019. So here are examples of cherry tomatoes, and here are examples of full-sized tomatoes that I dehydrated, and here's a whole jar full of them. So these are really useful. You can use them in soups. You can soak them in water to rehydrate them. Sometimes if I know how much I need for a recipe, I put them in a jar. I cover them with water and make sure there's a little extra on top and just pop it in the fridge for a while. And they rehydrate, and you can use them in a lot of recipes that way. And my favorite way to use dehydrated tomatoes, especially the cherry tomatoes, is to use them as a replacement for tomato paste. You can just whiz up the dehydrated tomatoes in a food processor and add a little bit of water until you get a thick tomato paste, and use it as a one-to-one replacement for tomato paste in any recipe. So that's how you dehydrate cherry tomatoes, the easiest, best way in my opinion to preserve cherry tomatoes. I hope this has been useful to you. If you'd like to can tomatoes, we have another video on this channel showing you how to can diced tomatoes. And go ahead and subscribe if you enjoyed this, because we'll be adding a lot more videos on how to preserve produce right here on the Bee and Bear Homestead YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.